Low rate, better posture. I'm calling Bank One.
Call 1-800-265-0036 for a Bank One Platinum Visa card, 3.9% intro rate, no annual fee, and a free portfolio. 1-800-265-0036.
Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
A major winter storm is still raging through the northeastern United States with a lot of freezing rain and even some heavy snow in New England and upstate New York, but there's an end in sight. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., you've been dealing with the slush and massive amounts of freezing rain that fell through the night and into the morning in our nation's capital, coating power lines, trees, car windshields. Later on, though, the freezing rain has changed to light rain, making travel slushy for many of you. However, the rain has just about ended, and signs of clearing skies in Washington, D.C. So some encouragement there that far south, but further north there still are problems. Hello, welcome to this special edition of Weather Center. I'm Mike Bono. We're following our winter storm. We're hoping that it'll wind down soon, and following it for the last couple of days has been our winter weather expert, Paul Kosin. Paul, we've been looking at a real blockbuster of an ice storm, and power lines are down, and there have been fatal traffic accidents. How are we looking right now?
We're looking at some easing of the situation. The surface low has now moved just northeast of New York City to Long Island Sound, and the coastal front that separated the mild air from the very cold air is actually retreating northward and has brought temperatures along the Connecticut coastline, the Rhode Island and eastern Massachusetts coastlines into the low 50s. So if we try to find where the 32-degree isotherm is right now, or a line of constant temperature, we can see that the 32 can be found just off of the coast of Maine, just to the west of Boston, just to the north of Providence, Rhode Island, and down through south of Hartford to the north of New York City, northwestern Virginia, New Jersey, and then off into eastern Pennsylvania. North of that line, that's where we have the problems. And south of that line, that's where we have the warm southeasterly flow replacing that cold air.
Nearly tropical conditions to the south. I believe you were mentioning it's up to 50 degrees in Groton, Connecticut.
And it's 54 degrees with a thunderstorm in Islip, New York.
My goodness. And still some icing going on in parts of the Hudson Valley.
Right. Temperatures in Albany have risen already into the mid-20s after being near zero and below zero yesterday. And all of the temperatures that have been below zero during the last day or so have really risen quite rapidly, but there's still many pockets, mostly in the 20s, so that freezing rain is continuing.
Well, let's see what some of those 20s have produced. We had a very cold Arctic high that came on down, some record proportions as far as temperatures go, and we've had a swath of 3 to 6 and 6 to 12 inches of snow in the northeast, and of course Michigan with the obligatory lake effect snows in western Michigan, and up to over a foot of snow in northwest PA and Ohio, but a lot of that has been mixed with sleet and freezing rain. But for the snow totals, up over a foot in South Weymouth, Massachusetts, that certainly has been a snowstorm for you guys. Rochester coming in with a little lake effect as well. But now we're still dealing with some freezing rain. Well, it's raining quite heavily in an icy fashion in a lot of southern New England and extreme southeast New York. And there is what we can consider to be the freezing line fall on the map.
Right, and we're also seeing that the snow has been progressing to the north and east across New York State. It's becoming a little bit less and less of a problem, but I'm sure across upper New York State, still getting some significant snow amounts. And across much of central and northern Maine, they will actually have a fairly significant snowfall and also accompanied by very cold temperatures.
Okay, well, we can see a lot of rain on that map right now, freezing up, of course, as you were saying, inland from Boston. And even parts of Maine should be getting freezing rain right now.
Right, again, drawing where that 32 line is probably right in here across eastern Maine. To the west of that, we're getting freezing rain. Boston is above freezing. It's still below freezing in Hartford and below freezing in southeastern New York. So the Catskills are still getting some freezing rain conditions. The rain-snow line has progressed all the way across to eastern New York, where Albany, who has been experiencing freezing rain, can probably expect a change over to snow within the next couple of hours.
So it's snowing in a lot of New York State. Incidentally, getting some reports now off the wire that freezing rain is causing major problems on Interstate 93 in the Concord, New Hampshire area. But some good news in Boston's Logan Airport. 2 of the 3 runways are now in operation in Boston, so we've got some good news there. Well, we've had in the Hudson Valley, one of our own, Mike Seidel, has been dealing with the conditions anywhere from snow and sleet on into freezing rain and holding out that thermometer, checking for the temperature every hour. Mike, what is your temperature up there?
Last check, Mike, it's 34 degrees, so we're above freezing. That freezing line that you and Paul talked about has moved north of the area. But if you're traveling north, up the thruway towards Albany, it's going to be, again, more ice and more rough travel. Not that the travel here is picture perfect today. For the first time in the 3 days we've been here, we can't see the top of the span here at the Tappan Zee. All of a sudden, the ceiling and the fog has literally rolled in up the Hudson River here, so visibilities are now down to about 1.5 miles. Roads are very wet but not icy here. Just be concerned with the fact that the secondary roads have more slush on them because they're not as well traveled. And as all this melts, there's going to be a lot of standing water and ponding because still a lot of the drains and sewers, at least out here in Rockland and Westchester counties, are blocked. Tonight, as the temperatures fall back below freezing, that's the key, everything ices up again, so watch the sidewalks. Anything in the morning could be a real disaster if you try to walk on it. And don't forget the black ice. Tomorrow it starts to warm up again, Sunday 50 and sunshine in Central Park. So we're on the up and up, but this afternoon again travel is touch and go, especially at the airports. Check ahead. There were a lot of cancellations this morning and delays continue.